Just a quick note to let everyone know, we will get underway here just in a short couple of minutes. The president's on his way over. Actually, he had a speaking engagement, I believe, and got hung up just a bit. So we'll get started in just a few minutes. Enjoy each other's company here as we wind down the semester. We'll be with you in just a little bit.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Got to look all the way across here. Sorry, I'm late. We were doing a groundbreaking for Prairie Aquatech in Volga, and the governor was late, so I'll blame it on him. But it's really an exciting day for SDSU. The Prairie Aquatech was started by Dr. Mike Brown and Dr. Bill Gibbons, and they just with brilliant creative research, and they've commercialized that, and it's a great success story for us. And so Volker, congratulations on Bill and Michelle. I'm looking for, maybe Michelle isn't here. From our NRM department, two super collaborators, just took a very, very creative and interesting idea and now have created a $60 million processing plant. And so the groundbreaking was just now, so thanks for waiting for me. We've got new technologies, right? What's in back of me? So I was thinking we had the new boards, Kayla, and we'd be looking this way. But I guess we're looking all three, right? Okay. Am I in control of this? Doesn't feel like it today. If you knew about my morning, you'd really. Well, I just thought I'd kick this off with a word cloud that we developed from our strategic plan, and which we presented in January to you. And the words that we jumped out and that jump out of that document in many different ways are certainly there for you to see today. And so being a premier university, having bold impact, creativity, excellence, diversity, people-centered, the core values, I think there's one more, excellence, diversity, creativity, integrity, people-centered are the five. Being a premier land-grant university and having bold impact on the world around us and in our communities really do, for me, wrap up the strategic plan. So we're going to be talking a lot about this today, and these concepts of being bold and creative, and the importance of diversity, and the investments that we're making towards our Impact 2020, Imagine 2023 goals. And I've got our whole team to help me do that, and the way today's going. That's a good thing. We've collectively, we have to own this. We developed that word cloud, and now we have to own it. And so I'd encourage you, those of you who are on 12-month contracts and here all summer working in whatever capacity you have at the university, think about those operationalizing your work and your future with those foundational words in mind. And for those of you who are on 9-month contracts and will rejoin us in the fall, I still want you to think about them and think about how you'll bring those, if you're in a leadership position, how you'll motivate and stimulate and communicate that to the folks that work under you. If you're a faculty member, how you carry that through your classroom. So I think I'll turn it over. I'll show you this thing works. So the campus conversation today, we're going to have Dennis and Michaela talk about our strategic plan and the key performance indicators. Daniel's going to talk about our new Research Park Economic Development Council, which is really very, very important for this entire campus to consider and participate in as you can. And then Dean will talk about facilities and construction update. We'll have some pictures, and then Dennis will wrap up with some academic affairs, leadership changes, and then of course talk about the position with West Cheddar too. So I'm going to turn it over to which one's getting up first? Michaela's getting up first. You're both, okay. So help me welcome Dennis and Michaela. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, President Dunn, and good afternoon, everyone. Really good to see you all out here today. Thanks for spending some of your time with us during busy week. We know finals week can be a very busy week, but we do appreciate you making the time to come out and spend some time with us. Vice President Willis and I, again, I think we've talked about this. You know, we were really pleased with the strategic planning effort that truly was a very collaborative process on our campus that did indeed culminate in President Dunn approving Imagine 2023 back in January. At that time, Vice President Willis and I, we visited a little bit about some next steps. One of those next step items was to roll out key performance indicators for the university. We're a little late in doing that, Michaela, but I guess we won't dwell on that. But part of what we talked about doing was developing key performance indicators. And those key performance indicators obviously are very important to us because, one, we need to be able to measure the good work that's being done as part of our effort going forward as we look toward achieving the goals of Imagine 2023. And at the same time, it's really important as an institution of higher education, a public institution, the state's land-grant institution, that we are indeed connecting with our stakeholders and we're communicating very clearly in regard to the value that we bring and the movement ahead that we have. So with that, Vice President Willis and I, we've spent some time working on key performance indicator strategy. I will tell you that we were going down a path. We decided that maybe we wanted to change our path. That's maybe one of the reasons why it took us a little bit of time. What we landed on, and I'll give you a little bit of an overview, and then Michaela and I will just kind of walk through them. What we landed on, we felt like as we really identified the things that would be very important performance indicators for us. Obviously, again, needed to measure our global performance. So again, we can measure ourselves and really drive and move the university ahead through processes of continuous quality improvement. So that really was critical. At the same time, we wanted to land on key performance indicators that we felt like our stakeholders would really understand. Having a good fundamental knowledge and understanding when we're communicating what's being done here at the university, we felt like it really was important and critical that it would resonate with all of those individuals that are interested in and truly have stake in the work that we're doing here. Then a few other things. We identified that we wanted to try to take advantage of as many things that we're currently doing in regard to measurement and assessment as we possibly could. We understand that it's very important to not stretch ourselves into a variety of different ways, but utilize the common sense approaches that we do have in place at this moment in time, as long as they really would provide appropriate measures for us and provide us a foundation so that we could communicate that information. And that's really the strategy that you'll see here, is one where we felt like these would be very comfortable, they would be easy for us to articulate our growth and movements as a university, and at the same time, we're basically within the grasp of the activities that we currently are doing today and to take advantage of as many of them as possible. So with that, we're going to start walking through, and I will turn it over to Michaela.
Thanks, Dennis. Isn't it great to see a little bit of green outside of our windows right now? It makes me so happy. I was in Kansas City over the weekend, and they had tulips blooming and leaves on the trees, and I came back and got to see little sprouts of green coming out of the ground. And so it's really a great time, and I think hopefully it puts smiles on everyone's face. I saw some pep to a lot of steps when we started to see the sunshine. So let's dig into the key performance indicators just a little bit here. So when we, as Dennis mentioned, we're looking at if we're doing all of the things in Imagine 2023 well, we will see change and growth in these metrics. And so in our first goal, achieve excellence through transformative education, some of the things that you see up there are going to look pretty familiar to you. So we're going to continue to look at enrollment in a variety of different ways. We're going to continue to focus on retention and graduation rate in some very similar ways. We'll have an easier to define definition of underrepresented students. So I know Jana and Jenny and Dimitri in institutional research and assessment will definitely appreciate that. So we're going to hone in on that. But these pieces here probably look very similar and are things that we should be measuring our performance on. On this next slide, same goal. We have a few more key performance indicators that we're going to look at. One of them is, of course, that number of accredited and certified programs, and we will be asking you for input into that. Graduate placement rate that Jana and Sherry Fuller Bordewyk and I are going to meet towards the end of this month, just in a couple of weeks here, and talk a little bit about how we measure graduate placement rate as a university. I know there's programmatic efforts in that area, but we're going to really work on solidifying and strengthening that particular placement tool and assessment. But one of the things that's up here that may look a little bit different is the global activities area. And so we thought quite a bit about how are we going to measure global activities and helping our campus grow in that area. And so we are going to talk about faculty and staff-led programs internationally. But we're also going to track a little bit better the number of students participating in summer or in study abroad. So those are a couple of different things that we will measure, and we'll be asking for our partners, particularly in international affairs, to help us with that, but also in our colleges and units and departments. And then the last thing that you see up there is our NESE results. And so we've identified a couple of key areas that we're going to continue to look at when we look at NESE. One is those engagement indicators, and so there's like 6 or 7 engagement indicators that we get at a high level. We're also going to really look at the number of students that participate in 2 or more high-impact practices, because that is important for our ongoing success. The students are also asked to answer a question about their overall experience at SDSU. That will be a measure of our success, and if they would attend SDSU again. And so those are the pieces in the NESE that we are going to look at and utilize as we determine success in the Achieve Excellence Through Transformative Education goal area. When we move into the second goal area, I'll go back one, cultivate and strengthen community engagement. We're going to, again, use some of those tools that we're already utilizing as a university. When we think about the campus climate assessment, the things that we are going to really pay particular attention to in this area, on the faculty and staff assessment, we're going to look at perceptions of the institution, visibility and diversity, work environment, and overall perceptions of the campus in campus climate. So those are the 4 areas on the faculty staff campus climate assessment that we're going to benchmark against. And then on the student side, we're going to look at the perceptions of the institution, visibility again, the co-curricular environment, and overall satisfaction. So those are 4 high-level areas on the student assessment that we're going to measure success in this particular area. But we're also going to pull in some pieces from the Great Colleges to Work For assessment. And so if you recall, we'll be doing the campus climate assessment every other year, and on alternating years, we will continue to do the Great Colleges to Work For assessment. And we'll be looking at the survey average, we'll be looking at job satisfaction and shared government or governance in that particular assessment. So those are some of the key things that we'll be looking at in that area. We'll also look at, of course, the number of business, industry, education, and community partnerships. With professional development, we'll be looking at the rank, promotion, and 10-year success rates through academic affairs, but also we'll look at the professional development metric that exists within the Great Colleges to Work For survey. And then finally, the percent of underrepresented employees and students. So from a cultivating and strengthening community engagement, if we're doing all of those strategies well in this area, we should see nice movement and growth in these areas. So I'll turn it back over to Dennis to talk about a couple of the next ones.
So the next grouping, foster innovation and increase research scholarship and creative activity. I think to some degree, when you look at what we have up on the screen, they should be familiar in many ways with respect to the work we're doing. We felt like, again, a global approach with some additional drill down would really be the right strategy for us at this moment in time. So the number and budget of grant proposals, the number and budget of research awards, and then also research expenditures, which again have been pretty common metrics metrics to us here at South Dakota State University. Now, what we identify here too is looking at the total, but also taking a drill down in regard to per tenured/tenure track faculty members. The other thing that is Vice President Willis and I really explored this, and again, I think based upon where we want to go and grow as a university in regard to increasing research productivity or competitiveness around grants, we also felt like it was important for us to be very diligent about tracking by funding source and also our success rates with respect to funding sources and funding agencies. We believe we can learn some valuable tools in regard to how we are helping faculty members, researchers gather the skills in order to be very competitive in grantsmanship by doing that. So we've added those, and we'll be very intentional about those metrics as well. So those should be pretty familiar, yet with a couple of twists to that as well. Beyond the grant activity, we also have some things that may look fairly common, but yet we've added a few new features as well. The number of peer-reviewed publications and creative works of South Dakota State University faculty members, simply doing counts with respect to peer-reviewed publications as well as creative works. We believe that as we onboard activity insight by digital measures, we will have a built-in strategy or methodology by which we can very ably collect that information. So again, we'll utilize that instrument. That's our vision right now, is we ought to be able to utilize that instrument as long as we get good input into activity insight, and we'll be able to measure that very easily. The other piece that we did add, and again, Christy's back here as well, is Open Prairie downloads. I think, again, I'm really all in with, open educational resources, I think, are critical. I believe Open Prairie for us is truly a treasure. It's something that really we need to celebrate and really shine a spotlight on to some degree in terms of featuring the great things that do happen here and are accomplished by those that are employed by SDSU. So Open Prairie downloads, we want to increase that. Never mind that. I'm looking up there. It looks like a misspelled word. Even by my bad eyesight, it looks like there's a misspelled word up there. But anyway, Open Prairie downloads. And at the same time, in terms of doing that, I think the other piece that I would just say is we hope that it also will help move and place more information onto Open Prairie again. I mean, I think we really see the next 5 years under the time frame of Imagine 2023 as an opportunity for growth to help bring, again, more of a spotlight onto the very good things that you all are doing here at the university, and that's one portal for us to do that. The next piece here is to be a growing, the next goal, be a growing, high-performing, and a healthy university. And again, this is where, for us, I think our strategy, as we looked at this, of trying to utilize things that we currently do, things that we've committed to as a campus community, we tried to utilize as much as we can. And campus climate survey and the campus climate metrics would be one of those items I would draw your attention to. In particular, with respect to being a growing, high-performing, and healthy university, we will really focus on those questions through that Sky Factor survey on perceptions of the institution, overall campus safety, administrative policies, and the evaluative metric there, overall perceptions of the university, perceptions of the institution on the student side. The previous ones were faculty, staff. On the student side, perceptions of the institution, campus safety, and then again, global overall perceptions. Again, with respect to many of the things that we envision as being strategies and tactics that will find their way there, we're of the opinion that if we do them well, we will see positive moves in those areas, and that's the overall approach. In addition to that, employee retention, looking at retention rates across all categories of employees at SDSU, faculty, professional staff, as well as civil service staff members, being very attentive to that. And then other indicators, overall headcount and credit hour production. So I think that, again, most of us really recognize what that would be. And then philanthropic gifts in total dollars. We are going to take, and our approach here is each year the foundation here goes through a process of identifying what those numbers should be for us. There's a very good chance that we will soon be moving into a capital campaign here with the foundation. So we're not going out with a global number at this point. It's much too premature to do that. We're basically identifying a strategy and would say, working with the foundation, those would be that would be an annual goal that would be set, and then we would measure our performance against that annual goal based upon the current factors of the time. We felt like that was the most common sense approach. We thought the same kind of a thing with respect to total dollars of reinvestment. It might depend upon what the strategic priorities are at any moment in time. Those might require some additional moves in regard to what those targets would be. A little bit hard to have a crystal ball and completely figure out what those should be, but we would set them on a year-over-year basis, and it would give us an opportunity, again, to drive toward those goals and work with deans and department heads in terms of making sure that we ramped up to where we felt like we needed to be in regard to strategic reinvestment dollars. The last item up here, too, and I didn't say this in the opening, but again, as much as we tried to utilize things that we currently have from a measuring standpoint, we did feel like there was yet something that was undone. And we felt like that something that was a little bit undone for us is we felt like we wanted something that we could utilize as a metric that would be enabling for us to communicate around bold strategies, creativity, and innovation, and at the same time to encourage bold strategies, creativity, and innovation. And that's where we came up with an idea to create a category, a special category for what we're calling SD State Bold Initiatives. And to tell you a little bit about what our vision is for SD State Bold Initiatives, I'll call on my colleague, Michaela, again.
All right. Well, we are very excited about the SD State Bold Initiatives because as you look at our vision, you see the word bold in our vision statement. And to be a premier university, land-grant university, we need to be bold and innovative. And so as we thought about what a bold initiative really should entail at SDSU, it really should be a game changer. It should be something that changes who we are as a university and really drives us forward. And so these are big initiatives. And so there are several ideas up here and several basic thresholds that we will measure against each of these to make sure that they are a bold initiative. So one, it does need to align with Imagine 2023 and our strategic plan for the university, but it should also transform both the university and the state of South Dakota. We should be able to increase our national and international acclaim through a bold initiative. It should make the university unique in the marketplace, and so it should really be a differentiator for SDSU. And it should also cultivate and strengthen that community engagement and collaboration that we're looking to enhance and achieve. And so when we think about an SD State Bold Initiative, what does that look like? It looks like developing a precision ag program because it transforms the university and the state. It increases our national, international acclaim. It really does make us unique because we're the only one that has that type of a program, and it does strengthen that collaboration. It looks like the Wakini Initiative, which is going to change the course of the university and help us serve a broader student population and a student population that really is in need of our attention. And so those are a couple of examples of what an SD State Bold Initiative might look like. We don't anticipate having 15 of these every year. There may be one or two, but they are big, broad, involve the entire university community coming together and moving toward a common goal. And so as you think about those big ideas and those great things that we want to do as a university, think about how you can be a part of and help develop one of these SD State Bold Initiatives. So as we maybe wrap up with the key performance indicator conversation, as you can see, all of these are very metric driven. We have not given you the targets, what we're hoping to achieve with each of these, because here in the next day or so, we'll be communicating out to the campus with a list of the key performance indicators and the areas where we need your input. And so we will ask the colleges to tell us what your strategic enrollment targets are so that we can fold those together and determine what our student headcount goal is going to be for Imagine 2023. We'll ask you for what are the research goals that you are setting for your units and colleges. And we will add that together to determine what our target is for Imagine 2023. So there is more to come as far as the targets, but we need your input. And so as you're working on your operationalization of the strategic plan and getting those crosswalk documents into the provost, myself, and my colleagues on the senior team, as you're getting those documents prepared, we're going to ask you to provide us with some of those metrics for your areas that we can add up and bring into our targets for Imagine 2023. So there is work to be done on that piece, but we need your input in order to make this document complete. Okay? So as we look forward, we're excited to kick off Imagine 2023 on July 1st. There's still some work to prepare us for that, but I think we have all of the pieces in place. And I'm looking to my colleague Mike Lockram. We are going to add Imagine 2023 key performance indicators to our website, hopefully in the next day or so, so they will be out there and online, but I will send out via email to the management team, and you can feel free to share the document down, those key performance indicators, and there will also be highlighted in blue on there the areas where we are going to need input, particularly at the college level, but also beyond that. Okay? All right. Turn it back over.
Good afternoon. Economic development isn't something that we are accustomed to talking a lot about in the university at SDSU, but the fact is that, economic development is it's a part of our mission. It's a part of the land-grant university mission. If you go back into the history of how the land-grant project, if you will, came into being, one of the things that was going on in the United States in the 1840s and 1850s was a really, really bad economy. Part of the vision was providing education and research, creating knowledge and disseminating knowledge that enables people to participate in improving the economy. While that wasn't explicit, that was part of the background discussion that was happening. And so for us, economic development is part of how we engage with the community, part of how we improve the well-being of the community. In addition, SDSU promoting, a university promoting economic development is part of the means of contributing to the development of the university's success. And that's because a vibrant, university-driven economic development provides opportunities for undergraduates, opportunities for graduate students, opportunities in internships, opportunities for employment in university-driven, knowledge-based enterprise, opportunities for faculty to spin off enterprises, again, driven by the innovation, the creativity, the intellectual capacity of the university's personnel, faculty, and staff. And it provides a community, or it contributes to a community that makes it attractive to recruit new people to our community and to our university when we're trying to recruit the best faculty that we can. Recruiting them to a community that's vibrant and that's economically vibrant just helps that process. So one of the things that, as I've grown into my role, that I found confusing, and so I'm sure there are at least a couple of other people who find this confusing as well, and that is, how do the economic development players in our sphere here, in Brookings, in the Brookings area, how do they fit together? We have, on the one hand, ourselves, the university, that's very clear, but we also have the research park at SDSU and Brookings Economic Development Council. Well, the fact is that Brookings Economic Development is very big, very Brookings-based, whereas the research park is one tool specifically within the sphere of Brookings Economic Development, and specifically the research park is our tool. It's a tool that exists for promoting university, SDSU, specific research and innovation, and providing a place for us to contribute to economic development as one of the ways that we have our innovation or promote our innovation having an impact on the community. Now, you may have heard of the Brookings Innovation Center, and that is the building, the main building currently at the research park. So the Brookings Innovation Center is a building, the research park is a place, and Brookings Economic Development Council or Corporation is a wider Brookings-based effort. Now, I want to explore a little bit more. There we go. I haven't found quite the formula to get it right the first time every time. I want to explore a little bit more about why the research park specifically is an asset for the university. Research parks are handy. Our research park is handy is because it's us. It's at the university, but it's not the university. So it's a great place for public-private partnering. It's not the university specifically, but it's not someplace far and distant from the university. It's a place where private enterprise and university experts can work together in a convenient location. So its proximity to the community and to the university simultaneously is an asset. Another reason, I want to jump to the bottom of this list, another reason the research park is an asset for the university, and I've said this already and it bears repeating, it creates or contributes to a vibrancy of our community. But in between these, the research park is a place where if it is full of activity of new, developing, and even mature enterprise activity, it's a place that provides employment opportunities for our students, for our graduates, both undergraduate and graduate students, internship opportunities for our students, and even employment opportunities for staff who are on 9-month contracts and engage in other activities during the off-contract period. But it's also a place, and this is perhaps how we recognize or most frequently think about research parks, it's a place for the development of industry or enterprise on the basis of SDSU discovered technology. So when we transfer technology out into the business community, startup businesses licensing SDSU technology, perhaps even started up by the faculty who invented the technology on behalf of the university, the research park is a great place to incubate those. And we see that model frequently throughout the United States. But insofar as a research park provides a means of attracting enterprise, either from developing from within or developing locally, or attracting new enterprise into the area and into the research park specifically, it brings our faculty and staff closer together with organizations that need our innovation, that need answers, real answers to real problems that are real enough that people will pay to have solutions for those problems. That's what business is all about in a manner of speaking. Because those organizations are here, in order to be close to our innovative faculty and our capacity, well, their presence simply increases the opportunity for sponsorship, for research sponsorship, for service arrangements, for collaboration arrangements. These are all good for SDSU's activity, and the use of its intellectual capacity, its research capacity, its scholarly capacity, and facilities to impact the community. So, finally, that brings me to the SDSU Research Park Economic Development Council, which is a new group that we've started, that we've kicked off, that has the purpose of engaging the research leadership of SDSU in thinking about how do we capture or package or present or utilize our expertise, our capacities to contribute in part to economic development. The reason I say in part is because obviously we have other channels of conveying our discovery, our research that are very well established and very important in the sciences. That would be peer-reviewed publication, of course. And so this isn't in competition to those more traditional channels, but in parallel to those channels. The Economic Development Council works by meeting on a regular basis to engage with business leaders and among themselves on what aspects of current and foreseeable future areas of research activity have the potential for having an impact through economic development channels so that we and the research park, especially the research park leadership, can be proactive at bringing in, inviting in, or promoting the development of those enterprises that will most help us create that environment of innovation or an ecosystem of innovation, of intellectual vibrancy that makes it attractive for entities, economic entities, to be here and makes it attractive for our students and our graduates to take part and for some of them to stay here and contribute. So with that, I would like to pass it on to my colleague.
So Andy, the curtains. I asked Andy to raise the curtains, but she's not going to do it so we can see this. So yesterday, what I learned, if you were at the university committee end-of-year report, if you want to keep your committee happy, all you got to do is give them a yellow vest, a hard hat, and tell them not to wear shoes. You got to have no-toed shoes. If I'd known that, we'd moved all along, but isn't that right, Dennis? That's what we learned. So the committee's happy. Today is a great time to be talking about what we've got going on. We have a lot that is kicked off as of today. So I hope you like the campus green. Take a good look because the jackrabbit green, walk by, take a good look at it. It's going to get tore up real quick. We can't keep status quo any as we take the chilled water line over to the new Frost Arena. What we've got accomplished this year is quite a bit. We got recognized again as a 10-year for about the 10th year of the tree campus. This year during Arbor Day, we planted a Dogal crab tree, which was actually developed by Enhancement, is one of his selected breeds that was developed here on campus. Also, we got designated as a bee campus. And you ask, well, what does that mean? And it really means is we're dedicated, our campus is dedicated and focused to raise awareness of the role of pollination of the pollinators in the community. And, we want to create a healthy habitat for the pollinators. Currently, on campus, we have 3 different areas that already are designated. If you notice, if you're here at 12 months, you see as you drive in campus, north of Harding Hall on the boulevard, those plants. Around architecture, math, engineering, we have quite a bit of pollinators designated into the landscaping. Out at the retention lake, this summer, you should see them all pop up around the lake. And then we're planning to do it around the American Indian Student Center, so those will be part of our pollination. Currently, we have over $148 million in construction. You look at this, we're always, it's always about athletics, it's always about student fairs, and it's not ever about academics. But actually, it's about a third again. You have the Pac 2, which is academics, theater, the Frost practice arenas, athletics, the Student Wellness Center, students, ATR Deal, research. So that gives you a quick idea. Besides the $148 million we currently have under construction, we also got $4.2 million currently in construction on M&R improvements. You know, and you ask, well, where is that? Well, the North Head House is getting improvements, the labs in Wagner Hall, some of the intramural building, which we'll talk about. And we got 30 to 40 other projects that are ongoing that if you go to sdstate.edu and then Curie project map, you can pull up the other projects and talk about them. Okay, this is the one that will all touch us all this summer. It has started. It started today. This is the steam tunnel project. And you'll see the green dots. That's going to be the road access off of Madera. They'll be putting that in very quickly, cutting the road. And this will become your flow into traffic into the dairy science, so the dairy bar. And also it'll become in your flow into the Northern Plains Bio parking lot. North Campus Drive, we will keep open until August 20th, so we have freshmen move in. But when school starts, Monday morning, don't be surprised to see barricades across it, the backhoe digging, because we still have to connect Animal Science Arena, Northern Plains Bio, the new ATR Deal to the steam plant. So that's going to be all fall semester about through Thanksgiving. But the good part about this is where you see the X mark, dash marks, we have kept the Ag Hall parking lot, and the hash marks will be tearing down the seed house, the greenhouses are already tore down. The head house will be tore down as soon as we get the equipment moved to the north head house. The wheat vinyl greenhouse will be tore down. The seed house we're using right now as a construction site, so we don't have our contractor all over the whole area. But so it has started. If you drive up there tonight and look off the side, you'll see they cleaned out or started cleaning out the building. Also, in the 1st of June, you know, as part of this project, we'll be replacing the sewer line from the dairy plant, the dairy bar, and the plant science, and then also the Hort Forestry. This is our new southeast development. This is going to be approximately, we're anywhere from 204 to 220 apartment beds. The project, you see the building, the apartment, it's going to be a 3-story apartment. It'll have 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom apartments. And then the lower right corner picture is an illustration of our townhouses. We'll be putting 4 to 6 townhouses along 7th Street. The challenge on this one, and we will make it, is they need to be occupied in fall of 2019. This gives you a quick illustration of the project. The gray area up in the right corner is your apartments. As you can see, or if you can't visualize, this is a multi-phase project. As enrollment grows, our plan is to mirror the apartments to the east side of the road, build apartments to the west of the apartments, and then townhouses. So there's more to change. We do know we probably will mirror the L-shaped apartments to the east. The lower building, the proposed building, right now, Student Affairs is working with Airmart, and we're pretty close to getting a coffee shop being put in by Airmart. Hopefully, we haven't got the brand. We think it's going to be a Starbucks. That's what we hope would be a Starbucks. We'll see. I'll put you on the spot just like the president does me. So, but anyway, this is going to be a transformation, and we thought this very thought through. And what you look at is you have the transition from commercial off 6th Street, the townhouses, and then into the residential. These are supposed to be for the upperclassmen, juniors, seniors, graduate students. So we do think we'll be meeting the needs of the upper class. Okay, as Michaela talked about, this is a schematic, a sketch of the American Indian Student Center. You know, the purpose is to provide a contemporary, multi-purpose academic collaboration space. The American Indian Student Center will have programming, services, advocacy, recruitment, retention, all the great buzzwords, and we expect them all to be transformational. The building, we believe, will be about 13,000 gross square feet. We'll have a multi-purpose room / classroom / event center at the building. All right, I'm learning. Okay, whoops. What you see is this is a schematic how we think the floor plan will be. The first floor will be basically the administration office, some multi-purpose rooms, some service areas. And then the second floor will be a student study spaces. We expect this building to be completed in December of 2019. All right. ATR Deal, if you've driven on the north side of campus, this building's mud's flying everywhere. They've got this started. This new building is going to be about an 82,000 gross square feet addition to the existing building. It's to accommodate the needs of ATR Deal. And if you're not familiar with what ATR Deal does, it's where they do serology, bacteriology, virology, necropsy, but we have quite a few labs, and what's key is it's going to be the first BSL-3 lab in the state. So we are moving up. BSL-3 is a standard. There's 2 BSL-4s across the United States, but it's expected to, our closest BSL-3 is Iowa State or University of Minnesota. So we think this will be used quite a bit. Also, the existing space, we'll be renovating the existing space and having 3 research laboratories. And if we get more budget, we'll be able to finish off the rest of the existing space for more research. This is called the University Enhancement Project. We're replacing the bridge at by the PAC. I don't know if you've noticed, but every now and then we get a 2-inch rain, we have flooding and to the south side of the road. So this will push the water through. You'll see the red to the right side of your drawing is the bridge we're replacing. We'll be putting 400 plus parking spaces in. We'll be putting a roundabout in. It's to improve the traffic and pedestrian safety at that corner. Hopefully it'll improve the aesthetics of that corner. I think it'll be truly an enhancement. You know, it'll be the second one. Someone asked me, where else is there a roundabout? Well, the research park does have a roundabout at the entryway, so we'll be the second one, but ours will be the most visible, or with the most traffic. This could be another one of those opportunities for Dave Law to excel, because this has got to be ready when school starts in August. Okay, this doesn't show up real well, but with for the people who don't know, the 3D art has, for the last 5 years, has been in the North Head House. And with the completion of the greenhouses this last fall, we need to take the North Head House and use it as a head house, which causes to move the ceramics, the sculpture to a new location. And so their new location is going to be in the intramural barn, or the barn as everybody calls it, intramural building. The south side will move ceramics, the maker space will be in the classroom. We'll also add 2 classrooms to this building. We'll start the renovation on this in July, and hopefully it'll be done when school starts, but you know, if it doesn't, it'll be shortly after school gets started. This won't be one of the challenges. Once this is done, then we'll renovate the North Head House to get that project completed up. As I've said before, if you have a lot of questions, look at our other 30 to 40 projects. If you go to sdstate.edu and then just text in project map, there's a definition that talks about all the ongoing numerous projects. There's quite a few. Like I said, we got about 40 projects that we are handling this summer. So who's next? Academic Affairs.
So yeah, it's my opportunity here. I get an opportunity to share updates regarding searches and positions within academic leadership, and really wanted to start reminding everyone that we did complete our search for the College of Agriculture and Biological Sciences. So John Killiford joined us in March. John, could you just stand real quick? I'm going to make sure everyone gets an opportunity to. No. So really enjoyed working with John so far, and we've got plenty of work yet to do, but thus far it's been very good. So thank you very much, John. The next item up there, we also had a position and had a great search, I think, in regard to the deanship for the Fishback Honors College. Becky Bott-Knudsen, so Dean Bott-Knudsen was selected as our dean of the Van D and Barbara B. Fishback Honors College. Now, I'm not going to ask Becky to stand up because she's not here today. Becky has been involved in some other very important things. And we're proud to let you know, and I have permission to do this, by the way, that we have a brand new baby boy dean. So anyway, I don't know, is it Raleigh or Rowley? I'm not sure. The R-O-L-Y, either Rowley or Raleigh Owen, weighed in 9 pounds, 6 ounces. So 9 pounds, 6 ounces of bouncing baby boy. So anyway, if you please, be thinking of Becky and wish her well. But again, really pleased with Becky serving for us as dean, but also really happy for her and her husband. Jane Mort. So Jane is here. Jane, you just want to wave and make sure everyone knows you, Jane. So really pleased, too, that our search culminated in Jane being named the Dean of the College of Pharmacy and Allied Health Professions. I've mentioned before in some other groups, Jane, if you haven't known, Jane's been really a key part of the success of that college for quite some time. Very heavily involved in our academic program assessment. During my time over there, Jane was always at my right hand doing that kind of work. So again, really appreciative of Jane serving in that role and look forward to great things continuing to come out of that college. We have the search that's ongoing for the deanship of the Jerome J. Lohr College of Engineering. We're in the final stages, so hoping to have some news that we can share here in a relatively short period of time. I always tell people that please be patient. It does take a little bit more time sometimes to navigate through everything. We want to make sure that we put in all of our due diligence, but we are in the final stages. Had 4 very good, very strong candidates come onto our campus, but hopefully we'll be able to have news on that very, very soon. On the next group, our search is underway for the next Dean of the College of Nursing. So Nancy Farrenwald, in case you do not know, so Nancy will be leaving us here this summer, so she's going to Texas A&M University. Great opportunity for Nancy, but our search is underway. Jane Mort, actually, Dean Mort will be serving as search chair, and Parker Executive Search will be helping us with that. And also pleased that Dean Emerita, Roberta Olson, has come back as our interim dean. And if you don't know Roberta, she's right here. And I think officially this is day 1 here. This is day 1. We've already had a meeting, and now you're over here. So anyway, so we're off to a good start. And then a couple of other searches, just to give you a brief update. We have searches underway for the colleges, so the Dean of the College of Natural Sciences, as well as the Dean of the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. Just a quick word about the College of Natural Sciences. Again, we're working right now, and we'll be working under transitional interim leadership. So Dean Dorner is going to be serving in that role as we transition here. But our search is underway. Dean Killiford is serving as our search chair for that search, so the committee's been named, and Parker is helping us with that search as well. And for the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences, we just got the committee all put together. So Dan Scholl is chairing that search for me, and Whit Kiefer actually is a search firm that's helping us out with that search. At this point in time, again, our strategies really with those 3 searches, so nursing, natural sciences, arts, humanities, and social sciences. We've had our organizational and are having our organizational meetings. And then really this summer, we will spend most of our time creating enthusiasm around the positions. So we'll be working the channels to make sure people understand the great opportunity that does exist with those deanships. And then once we get back in August, you'll see a lot of activity. So be thinking about a pretty robust fall semester of bringing candidates for those 3 positions onto our campus. And if all goes according to plan, when we get into November, December, hopefully we'll have finalists on campus and we'll be able to make some announcements. And then depending upon the situations at hand, we'll either be able to have them join us immediately or go through an onboarding process over the course of the spring semester. But that's the strategy there. And then finally, Dmitry Suspitsin, and I don't know if Dmitry came over here or not, but anyway, so also pleased to add Dmitry to our team in academic affairs. So Dmitry serves as our Director of Institutional Research. And if you haven't noticed, I hope you spend a little bit of time going out to the websites and also on Inside State. There's a growing presence of dashboards, so institutional information that Dmitry, but not just Dmitry, other members of the team of the Office of Institutional Research and Assessment, and of course Jana Hansen's sitting right back here. And Jana did a great job too, serving in an interim role, and continues to be Dmitry's teammate as they continue to do that work, as well as other members of that staff. But they've done a great job. We've heard you loud and clear that you want more information readily available at your fingertips to help you make better data-informed decisions. We're working very hard to try to accomplish that. That's one of Dmitry's priorities, but it's been really a priority of the team for quite some time, and they've made nice incremental progress. And if you haven't been out there to look, I'd ask you to do that for me and go out and take a look at what they're putting together. And then the next would be this position, and I will be actually serving as the search chair, but I'm going to pass that off to President Dunn so he can make a few comments about it, as this is indeed a direct report to the President.
Well, thank you, Dennis. So we are searching for a new Vice President of Finance and Business, and that is made. We need to do that because a very good friend of all of ours, Wes Cheddar, has decided to retire after a couple years here working. So I thought we should take this time, as we are a campus community, to thank publicly a very good friend of all of ours who has done an enormous amount of work over a long career. Since 1982, he served on this campus in the finance office, and then about 12 years ago became vice president. Wes has overseen the development of $500 million worth of construction on this project. He helped start the Jackrabbit Guarantee. I mean, the list of his fingerprints are on every part of this campus, and it's something for us to thank him for and celebrate his great work. Before that, he served in the legislature, so he's been serving South Dakota for his whole adult life. He's a '69 alum of our ag engineering program, and so help me thank Wes Cheddar. So come on up, Wes, for all his service to SDSU. Really something for you.
Yeah, thank you. Heavy.
It's heavy. You want to open it?
That's it.
Well, there's more coming. You want to say anything? We're going to have additional celebrations, but I
Wow.
wanted to.
Very
Not
nice.
your bunny.
Very nice, very nice. Just thank you. I look around the room and I've worked with many of you in various projects, from construction, of course, and personnel-related matters, facilities matters. Just want to thank you. We've made a lot of strides. This campus looks much different than it did in 1982 when I was first came here, let alone 1969 when I was a student. So thanks again, all. I don't have many words. I'll just say no words.
We'll have other opportunities to celebrate with Wes as he gets closer, but I just wanted to do this, wanted to let all of us do it together as a campus community before summer break. I have, this is my personal, this is Wes Cheddar for Barry Dunn. when I became dean of the College of Agriculture and Biological Sciences about 8 years ago, I came on board, and at basically a exec team type meeting, a management meeting, Wes got up and after I was introduced, and without a cue card, he got up and he said, we all need to do, and he was pointing around the room, he said, we all need to do everything we can to make Berry successful, which was a heavy load, but because Berry's success is all of our success. And I'll never forget that. I mean, that's how he treated everybody, was that your success was his success and the campus's success. So thank you, Wes. You're a dear friend, and I appreciate it very much. So, yeah. Before I get to, thanks. Before we do questions, I do want to point out a couple really important things for us. So right across the hall, or the road, is Pugsley, and that was the student union when I was a freshman here in 1971, and we're doing a facilities plan on converting Pugsley for the College of Education and Human Sciences right now. So that's underway. And the whole campus needs to know that, and I don't mean to just want everybody to know that. It's an enormous building. I'm looking at Jill. Part of her college is already in there, but we're looking to change some things up and move some people around and have a lot of her college located in that building. And then if you don't know, the Catholic Diocese is going to build a new Newman Center directly south of the current Newman Center, and the university has made a commitment to purchase the Newman Center, and that construction hasn't started yet. But when we get the new Newman Center, we're going to move the services in the Wintrode Center east to, I got that right, Dave? East to the new Newman Center. Will be right next to the students. And the Wintrode Center will also be repurposed for EHS, for counseling, as I understand it. And then the other building that you can see out there is Lincoln, which when I was here as a freshman and graduate student was a library, and now it's the music hall. But with the opening up of the Performing Arts Center and moving all those people out of that building, we have a design plan going on to convert that building into a home for the new College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Science, and that will be spectacular. Both of them will be really important projects, and so you can look forward to more information about those. So I'll open it up for questions, and when I can't answer them, I've got our senior team here with us, so Wes and Mike Adeline and Tracy Green and Daniel and Michaela and Dennis, and so certainly answer any questions you have about what's going on. So we did get to meet with all the colleges and many of the departments before the end of the school year, so maybe we answered a lot of them, but if you have questions from those conversations or anything about what's going on in campus, what's going to go on this summer, that's what we're here to do. So. Yeah. Would chemistry move into to Lincoln? Oh. But the research park is available, so. Yeah. Right, so the search, I'm going to let Michaela answer that one, make sure we get that right.
Certainly. So I am serving as the chair of the Director of Diversity, Inclusion, Equity, Access Search Committee, and we have been diligently reviewing applications, have completed some Skype interviews, and are looking at what our next steps are in that search. And so, so we are still working on building the applicant pool. And so if you have individuals that you'd like to encourage to apply, we encourage you to reach out to people. But we are wanting to make sure that we do find the right person for that. And when interviews on campus are ready to be announced, we'll definitely share that with the campus community and invite all of you to participate. So that is where we're at with that search.
On the resource question, we certainly will be competitive for salary. Nathan didn't leave for salary. He went home to Ohio, which was both his home and his wife's home, and he got a great job, and so we're happy for Nathan. But we had he was so we'll check that out in terms of the market analysis, and I rely on the HR group to do that. I don't know if Mark's here or not, but anyway, we do a market analysis before that every time. So yeah. Yeah, he did have staff, and we can look at more. He got an ambitious program started, and it was just really unfortunate that he left for the program. I don't know that it was resources. And he had a very ambitious program ready to launch, and Cass Williams has been doing 2 jobs, and actually I think we ended up the year in pretty good shape. But she did have programming this last spring. Yeah. So what Karen mentioned was we're advertising for ADA coordinator. I was going right now, and that position will be in the office, and that'll enhance our service to diverse populations with challenges. So. Anybody counting to 30 with me, or? We did put out some grants, opportunities associated with the Wikini initiative, and we have some resources there. And I don't know the status of those, Dennis. So what we're looking for is anywhere on campus, if you have ideas on how we can do a better job, especially around serving students, Native American students, but actually what we learned there we can apply to other populations too, which are certainly emerging in South Dakota. So the diversity question is a great question, and it's a challenge for us. I shot around to the President's Council the link to the 60 Minutes show and segment last Sunday night about the Gates Scholarship Program and the challenges they ran into working with low-income students. And it was regardless of race for Gates, primarily diverse populations, underrepresented populations. But it's a great 12-minute segment to watch, because those young people that on that segment describe perfectly what's in front of us in terms of serving underrepresented people. And so I'd encourage you to watch it if you can. Again, it just takes 12 minutes. You go to CBS, 60minutes.com, whatever it is, and it's a quick, but it's very, very informative. And I think it'd be good for everyone on campus to watch it, because it is what's coming at us as we strive to serve underrepresented populations. We've had some pretty good success with interest in Wikini scholarships, some disappointments, but we're still, out there pounding the Keith Malem and Shanna Harming is helping me with raise money for Wakini, and it's under the leadership of Dennis and Michaela. So we're working very hard on that. We'll have awarded. So we've awarded 13 scholarships of the 15, and hopefully we get some more. So, yeah. Actually, it's an interesting population to work with. I spent the day at St. Joe Indian School about 3 weeks ago, and it's very informative for me. I'd been to St. Joe's before, but not in the capacity I spent. Wonderful kids with enormous challenges, and so those challenges, if they come, will come with them, and those challenges will then become ours. Dennis had quoted me one time. He said he had a Wakini moment about what this is going to be like, and we are all going to have Wakini moments but again, this will be with one population, but as we serve the Somalian community in Sioux Falls more appropriately, or whatever community, we're all going to have really challenges about how do you serve underserved, how do we better serve underserved populations. So it's exciting, but it's also very challenging. So, yeah. Mitt? It includes classrooms, certainly in Pugsley, and maybe some in both. Another project that EHS has been working on is a lab school concept, and a very different approach to teacher ed, and the Christie Ballroom, which you might not know, Mick, is a Christie Ballroom, but where the band is, it'd just be perfect space, or there could be space at the research park too. So lots of ideas out there about how to use that space better in very new and innovative ways. I got to tour Harding Hall last week, and the e-trading room will be moved over, which will open up a really great space in Ag Hall, and I talked to John about how we can best use that. But and then an incredible classroom space in the bottom of Harding, which you look outside of the east door of Harding Hall and you see all those dorms. It'll probably be the most popular classroom on campus, because it'll be 2 minutes away from Ben Rifle and all those dorms. So it'll be very, very popular for your programs, Ellenid. So we are getting some new, better, renovated type space. We're working on the space analysis part, and I'm looking at Dean right behind you, Mick. But it's not so much. Some of it's about the right kind of space, and then filling them up, making sure we have great utilization. So I'd say let's improve the space we have. Good question. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, great question. So with the opening of the Performing Arts Center, is there any plan to renovate Donor Auditorium? And there are, and it would be a great classroom about the size of Rotunda D. So it would be another big classroom. Now it's a couple years down the road probably, because there's other priorities, but that's what that space could be used for. It's a great question. It's kind of a hard audience to watch here. Yeah, Angela. Hi. Yeah. Go ahead, Dennis. Great question. You might have to repeat it.
Yeah, so the question was about the research metrics and why necessarily the specific call out for tenured and tenure track where there are others that contribute to grant activity, research activity, and extension, for example. I'd give you another one. I was a clinical faculty member. I think Dr. Mort's sitting back here. She's probably got pretty high expectations for that group as well, by the way. So there are some others. We recognized that there were some others. Really, we felt like, again, we wanted to make sure that we didn't get too cumbersome or too burdensome in regard to the total number of metrics that we were looking at, and felt like those would be the over-the-top indicators, so the totals. So it's not to diminish anything. We just felt like, given the fact that, there were only so many things that we could really grasp our hands onto and that we would really want to present, keep track of, and thought we could collectively look at it globally over the top in regard to goals, and they should be ramped up in there. But did also think that there were special categories in regard to tenured and tenure track faculty members with respect to a lot of the expectations around research and scholarship in particular, which would be a fairly consistent call out. And it's actually, too, because we also spent quite a bit of time looking at this, would be the most common way. So we actually kind of landed. So we looked at what a lot of our peer institutions and stretch peer institutions. This was by far and away the most common package that was utilized of our peer and stretch peer institutions.
Angela, we had that question when we met the honors faculty, which go across all kinds of groups. And so an honors has been really successful over the years with grants, just like extension is. And so it doesn't quite fit that metric, but those honor, if Dr. Bott and if she worked with someone in pharmacy or in agriculture and got a USD challenge grant for a new type program, those would be credited to honors. So there's ways to do that. I really encourage you to think about the bold impacts over the summer, that challenge, and come up with ideas. There are, I think what I just rushed in from, taking soybean meal and creating a higher value product, which is, so that's value added agriculture, but actually the interest, I don't know how much you know of the story, but the interest of Dr. Brown in that, and it was actually his idea to use, he said, why wasn't, literally one of these great questions, why aren't we using soybean meal for fish? It wasn't about the price, it was about the degradation of the fish populations in the oceans that drove Michael. Michael Brown's a wonderful fisheries scientist. And so his concern was an environmental concern. And so he wanted to relieve pressure off the ocean's fisheries. And that's not, that part of that story should be, we better get that down really well, because it's a great part of the story. So Mike's driving over from, he and Elaine, who works for the SDSU Foundation, does a great job, live in Volga. He's driving by that soybean plant. He's worried about the world's fisheries, Joe. And he says, oh, why can't we use soybean meal? Well, soybean meal has sugars attached to the protein, which won't allow it to be utilized very well by fish. So Bill Gibbons came up with a fungus to strip the oligosaccharides off the soybean meal protein and let it, zip right through the intestinal wall of the fish. And that's Prairie Aquatech. So it's value-added agriculture, it's economic development, and it's environmentally great for the world's fisheries. So it's real. That's what we're looking for. That is really a cool idea, and they brought it to fruition. So it's a big win. We have a lot to be proud of. And so I'm looking at the nutrition side, Jill. It could be used in baby formula. This is really an incredible product that could have impacts not only in the baby formula market for the Similac type product could have be a bigger market in terms of value than the fish meal. So that's bold impact that we're looking for. So, and there's lots and lots of examples on campus in our history, but so that's fresh in my mind as I came from that groundbreaking. So, is that the right story, Volker? You're close. So. Well, I can outweight you, but but I don't want to torture you either. So. I hope you have a wonderful summer for those of you who we won't see till fall, and I hope those of us who are on campus for the summer, it will looks like we're going to have some detours involved. Mine's not too bad. I just got to walk across the street, but it looks like you're going to enter campus from the south a lot for the summer, not too much from the east or the north, but. It's an exciting time for SDSU. I'm certainly very proud and humbled to be your president, and look forward. Want to thank the senior team for developing all that material for today. Help me thank them. So, and have a great summer, and we'll see everybody next fall.